Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Max and today I'm going to be sitting down with you guys and doing a review of the new Makeup Revolution Fast Base Foundation Sticks. These are so sought after at the moment. I just managed to get my hands on one. I really wanted to get a review out to you guys last week, but unfortunately I could only get hold of it today, and as soon as I got it I wanted to sit down and do a review, which is what I've done. So yeah, I'm going to be sitting down and I'm going to be trying this foundation out, doing a look with it, going off for a few hours and telling you exactly how it performed. So if you're interested to see how the Fast Base Foundation Stick held up, then make sure you keep on watching. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and done my brows like I normally would, you know the drill with that. And I've also done some eyeshadow just because this is a foundation review that I want to do today. So I really want to concentrate on the foundation itself rather than the eye makeup that I'm doing. So I'm now going to move on to primer, just prime my skin before I put the foundation on. For primer, I'm going to be using one of my favourites. This is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. This stuff is a gel and I really like it. So I'm just going to be applying that with my Real Techniques, and this is the Expert Face Brush. Just going to be, I'll place a little bit on my finger first. I don't really know what to expect with this foundation, you guys. I'm quite excited. It's supposed to be really full coverage. I've obviously never tried it before. And shade-wise, I always find it really difficult to match with drugstore foundations, because obviously with higher-end foundations you can go into a shop and they'll test out your shade and then you know that you're getting the right shade, whereas with a drugstore there's, well, in the UK anyway, there isn't normally people there to help you match your shade, so you're kind of just holding it up to your skin and just hoping for the best. So this is the foundation here. I really like the packaging. It's almost like a rose gold toned packaging. It's really nice, and this is the product. I'm just going to wind it all the way up so you can have a look how much there is. So there isn't a bad amount of product. I don't think they'd be able to fit that much in because it's quite a small packaged stick here. This is in the shade F6 and I'm really praying that this is my shade. So these Fast Base foundation sticks will set you back £5, which I think is super affordable. It's definitely an affordable brand and they're coming out with such amazing products at the moment. They are killing the game. They came up with the Conceal and Define concealers not that long ago, and I'm going to be using that for today's video, of course, if we're using the new foundation. I'm just going to read you what it says on the website just so we can see what we're expecting. It says, foundation just got faster. Launching in 18 shades and a range of undertones, Fast Base foundation quickly perfects contours and highlights your complexion. The easy to apply stick formula melts into skin, blending seamlessly to leave a fresh and dewy finish. Twist up, swipe on and blend out with fingers, a beauty sponge or your favourite foundation brush. Okie dokie. So I've got the shade F6, which says for light, medium skin tones with yellow undertone, which I think I am, especially coming down onto my neck. I think I'm quite yellow. This is just my natural colour, by the way. I don't fake tan or anything. So yeah, we're going to go in with the foundation stick. I think what I'm going to try is blending it out with my Expert Face Brush and then buffing it in with my damp beauty blender, and we'll just see how we get on. Let's pray for the shade, you guys. Let's pray for the shade, because if the shade is wrong then I don't really know. Obviously I'll do the review anyway, but I'll need to order a different stick because I can't give you a long-term review if it's not going to be the right shade. Okay, let's do this. So I'm just gonna wind it up a little bit and put it onto my face, and let's have a look. The moment of truth. Oh, it's quite yellow, I will say that. But I do think that it matches with my neck quite well. As you can see, it's kind of a yellow undertone. It's not, it could be a lot worse. It definitely looks full coverage. Like, I don't really know how many strokes to put on or anything like that. But I guess I'm just gonna go crazy because I'm a full coverage queen, and then we'll worry about it later. Is that too much? It looks like too much, doesn't it? Oh well. Let's buff it out and see. Blending out nicely. I mean, that blend onto the neck is not bad. I'm always forever having foundations that are too light or too dark, and then on my neck when it blends in it just looks so bad. But even though this is a slightly different colour to my face, obviously I like to blend with the neck because that's the part you're going to see when you're out and about. I mean, the coverage is pretty good. It was definitely buildable. I would say it's pretty full coverage, to be honest, which is great. Right, let's buff it out with my beauty blender so it doesn't look cakey. See how that works. I'm actually quite happy with that colour, you guys. I know that it looks a little bit lighter than what you're normally used to seeing on this channel, but to be fair, it's probably closer to my skin tone than a lot of the foundations that I use. If I want to darken it up, I'll just use a little bit of bronzer after, but considering I had no idea which shade to choose when I was at Superdrug, I think that I did not a bad job. So I'm really liking the way that it's blending out. It definitely is medium to full coverage, probably on the full side, which is great. I also would say it's a bit of a dewy finish, which is surprising for a foundation stick. Normally foundation sticks are matte finishes, but I actually prefer a dewy foundation, so I'm not fussed on that. I'm quite happy with the way that it looks. And yeah, I'm really surprised about the coverage. It's covered pretty much my It's covered my blemishes really, really well. I'm now going to go in with concealer, of course. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. This honestly is my new favourite concealer. I use it on an everyday basis and I love it. I have just ordered 3 more of these. I know that sounds crazy, but they sell out so fast and they're only £4. So I've been through one already and yeah, absolutely loving it. So I'm going to be applying that under my eyes and highlighting my face with it. Let's see how it reacts with the foundation. I'm guessing, seeing as they're both made from the same brand, then they should react very well together and should blend out really nicely. So let's see how it goes. Okay, now we're all highlighted, let's buff it out. As you can probably imagine, they're blending together really, really nicely. So I'm loving the highlighted look that this is giving. This is really, really stunning. So to set that all in place, I'm going to be taking my number 7 translucent setting powder. This is my new favourite setting powder at the moment for my under eyes. I just think my under eyes are a little bit dry, so this powder reacts really well with eyes that are a little bit dry. I'm just going to bake the under eyes. While that is baking, I like to put a little bit on my forehead just to stop any creasing, because I get a lot of creasing there, and I put a bit down here, a little bit around my nose. Right, I'm now going to set the rest of my face. I think because this is looking a little bit lighter than what I'm used to, I'm going to go in with a powder that is a little bit darker than my skin tone, just to bring things up to a nice shade. I'm going to be taking this number 7 powder, and this is in the shade medium. So I'm just going to buff a little bit of that into my skin, and hopefully it's going to bring everything up to a perfect colour. Taking my Bobbi Brown full coverage face brush, and I'm just going to set the face. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off that bake just using this buffing brush from Real Techniques. That is blended out really, really nicely, and I am really loving the way that this foundation looks, and I actually think it's not a bad match, to be honest with you guys. I quite like the colour. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish my makeup just because this is obviously a foundation review, not a makeup tutorial. So I'm going to come back at the end and I'll tell you my thoughts with how the other products reacted, and then I'll go out for a few hours and I'll come and do a check-in and give you my final thoughts of the foundation. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Hey guys, so I've gone ahead and finished my face makeup, and I'm really, really surprised by how much I'm liking this foundation so far. If you guys are wondering, I'm wearing on my cheekbones for highlighter, I'm wearing Lavender Snow, and this is from the Platinum Ice highlighting palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And on my lips I am wearing this is the Kylie Velvet Liquid Lipstick in the shade Bear. And yeah, so I'm really loving the way this foundation looks and the way it feels. It's almost like a dewy finish, but I set it with some powder so it's not too over the top. I actually really like it, and it is probably the closest to my skin tone that I've ever actually found a foundation before, which is so shocking considering I found this from a drugstore. I can't do a few check-ins when I'm out and about because it's evening here in the UK. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off and do a few errands for a few hours, and then I'll come back and do a check-in and give my final thoughts on the foundation. I am going to be trying this foundation out a few more times throughout this week, and on the weekend I'll do a full test from morning to evening. So if you do want to see how that turned out, then make sure you head to my blog, which is maxslook.com. I'll make sure I link it down below. If you head there in a few days, I'll have the full written review and more of a wear test. But for now, I'm going to go off and do a few things, and then I'll come back and give my final thoughts. But so far, as you can probably tell, really, really loving it. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, so I'm doing a quick check-in. It's been probably about 3 or 4 hours now, and I'd say the foundation is holding up really, really well. I'm still completely loving the way it looks on my skin, and I'm just going to zoom in here just to give a bit of a closer look. It hasn't creased, it hasn't gone into any fine lines. It has a tiny bit gone into my frown lines here, but that is normal for a foundation. I did set it with a bit of translucent powder, so it hasn't done it very much, but overall I'm really, really impressed so far. I'm going to give it about another hour and then I'll come and give it my final thoughts. Okay guys, so I'm coming back for my second and final check-in. I'm still really, really loving the way that this foundation looks. Honestly, it really hasn't creased or gone into any places that I don't want it to. It still looks full coverage and really, really flawless. So I'm absolutely loving the way that this has turned out. Okay guys, so that is it for the review of the new Fast Base foundation sticks from Makeup Revolution. As you can tell, I absolutely loved it and it held up really, really well. I think it matched my skin tone perfectly, considering that I picked it out from a drugstore and had no idea if it was going to match my skin tone. So I'm definitely thinking that this could be one of my all-time favourite foundations. I know that is crazy considering I only just picked it up, but I'm just loving the way that it looks on my skin. I think it's covered up my blemishes really, really well. Normally I go in with a concealer before my foundation just to make sure that everything is covered, but this foundation is so full coverage that I didn't have to go in with any concealer whatsoever. And considering that it's a foundation stick, it's super easy to travel with, £5, really isn't many bad points I can say about it. I do think that you should go out and try and get it as soon as possible if you're interested, because they sell out so quick. I'm probably going to go straight online after this video to try and get hold of another one while they're still available. Of course, I'm giving this a big Max's Look hell yes. 100% this foundation performed so well. I love the look that it gave on my skin. I love the finish. I'll put a full written review up on my blog, so make sure if you are interested to go and read that. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching me review this. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a massive thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you know every time I post a video and you don't miss a thing. I'll place all of my other social medias down here, so don't forget to give me a follow on all of those. Take care everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.